When you look back on your life, is it the negative stuff that stands out the most or the positive stuff? And when you move through anything, whether you went to a party, it was a wedding, you offered a workshop, what stuff stands out the most? Where you did fantastic and you got all of this great feedback? Or was there one negative comment that landed and just like cut right through your heart? Statistically, they have come to see that we focus on the negative more than the positive, even if the positive outweighs the negative. I know for me, when I was hitchhiking around the world, one of the countries I did that in was Australia. And everybody that picked me up, because they would pick me up quite quickly to rescue me and be my hero, I heard the same three stories that have happened to hitchhikers over and over and over again, because there were three bad stories and they really stood out for people. And so I said, well, hold on, I'm going to start to share all my positive stories and what's happened to me. And then afterwards, I would say, did that really land? And almost always I was met with, but. And so we have a tendency to focus on the negative. It is our brain's way of wanting to keep us alive. It's our survival tactic. Yet it's something that we can consciously override.
It's said that the bitterness of failure is twice as hard as the sweetness of success, which is basically what Justine just said, that we don't remember the way we register successes, the way we register pleasure is, I would even say, less than half of how we register the pain. And that's what's motivating us when we make decision. When we are making decision, we always go with the passive decision. To make an active decision, meaning that we're going to risk having a new outcome. And if that new outcome has any chance of pain, we're immediately going to try to put it aside. We're going to procrastinate it. We're going to avoid it, because the register of that pain, of that failure, goes so deep into us, or at least we think that it goes so deep into us, that we're really avoiding it. We don't want to feel it. Think about it, about all the beautiful, even go to lovemaking, go to that place. How many times inside of you remember the most amazing lovemakings? And how many times do you remember those places that you had shame there, or that it was not so good, or that you felt guilty, or something like that? We remember those so strong, but we don't remember all the amazing times that it was beautiful, that it was loving, that it was beneficial, that it was a gift of love. This is how our mind is working, and we need to put conscious effort into changing that, into anchoring the good stuff, into anchoring the positive experiences, and not to be afraid of the bad ones. It's very natural to work like this, but this is what's stopping us from having a more full life, a more free and fearless life.
So you want to become aware of what is your default mode? What is the way in which you are operating on? Because we are constantly reacting to life. We live on autopilot. We have about 3% of us that is actually engaging consciously and using our free will. And the way that we get out of autopilot is living intentionally. And the way we want to do that is by bringing the stuff that's in the unconscious and to the surface. And then we can start to enjoy those successes. I had one friend who had set this mark of how much money he wanted to make, and he made it at the age of 26. He had a huge accomplishment. And the next day he was like, life's just the same. Nobody told me that this wasn't going to change everything, because it's not about hitting those things and then yes, it's about what's going on the inside. And that's what we want to be doing in this workshop. We want to be going in and looking at what's on the inside, get into the underlayers, because the underlayers are what hold us up in our reaction state and our default mode.
Yeah. So if you're interested in getting medals at the end of the workshop, you won't get those, but you're going to get a lot of insight into what you want and how you're going to do it, and hopefully also a lot of empowerment to go and do it, and to know that nothing will happen if you fail. And if pain will rise, it's absolutely fine, because there's a lot of of pleasure that also rises all the time. So see you soon in the next workshop.